morning to all. Let me start the session with a small quote. Technology will never replace great teachers, but in the hands of great teachers, it's transformational. With this, I, Professor Smita Rai, warmly welcome you to the session on Beyond Software Development and Alternative Career in Computer Science. Moving to the next. Program schedule for today's session. Introduction to the speaker by Smita Rai. About the institution will be given by the Principal of IIMT, Professor Dr. Pramod Kumar Prushti. Talk on engineering prospects by Professor Dr. Pradhanya Borkar, Symbiosis Institute of Technology, Nagpur. Feedback followed by vote of thanks. Let's move on to the glance on the topic. When people think of computer science career, software development is often the first thing that comes to mind. While coding and building applications, the core aspects of the field, the world of computer science often makes a difference in the software engineering. With this exploration, we will dive into an alternative career path that leverages computer science expertise in an innovative way. Whether you are passionate about artificial intelligence, cyber security, protecting the digital landscape to data scientists, artificial ethical hacking, digital forensics, or even tech path policy, there's a path for you always. Let's break this stereotype that computer science is just about writing code, because the possibilities are endless everywhere. To give a brief idea about the topic, today we have a renowned speaker, Dr. Pradhanya Borkar, Symbiosis Institute of Technology, Nagpur. Moving on to his alchemy, Ms. Pradhanya Borkar, PhD Computer Science and Engineering, MTech Computer Science and Engineering, and BE Computer Science Technology, is an assistant professor at Symbiosis Institute of Technology, Nagpur. She is also recognized as a CDSE Master Trainer for High Performance Computing. Ms. Borkar research contributions are extensive, with publication in Scopus Index journals, SCI journals, and Web of Science Index journal. She has also presented paper at enormous international and national conference and contributed to 12 book chapters with reputed publishers. As a PhD supervisor at Symbiosis International, she currently mentors 4 registered PhD students in their research endeavors. Beyond academic, Ms. Borkar has an impressive portfolio of patents, including as an author and an editor, and contributed to multiple prestigious books, including Digital Twins, Internet of Things, Machine Learning, Smart Manufacturing, and so on. Her technical expertise is further recognized through 4 NVIDIA certification in CUDA and deep learning technology. She is a senior member of IEEE, a life member of ISTE, and an active member of IEANG and SDIWC. Ms. Borkar has been acknowledged as a high-performance computing master trainer by CDAC, conducting specialized HPC sessions at various regional colleges under the AICTE Sankalp initiative. She also serves as a dedicated reviewer and editorial board member for several international journals, including the International Journal of Emerging Trend in Engineering and Basic Science, and the International Journals of Innovations in Engineering and Science. Additional to her reviews, she has done an enormous conference papers and book chapters from the renowned publishers. Her contributions to research, education, and innovation continue to make a significant impact in the field of computer science engineering. We are really honored to have you with us today. Moving to the next. Before our esteemed guest shared her insights on today's fantastic topic, I would like to request the principal of the institution to speak about our prestigious institutions. Over to you, sir.
Jai Jagannath. Very good morning to one and all present here. Myself, Dr. Pramod Kumar Prushti, Principal, IIMT Bhubaneswar, Odisha, take this privilege to brief you about our institute and its activities. At the outset, I must welcome Professor Dr. Srikant Patnaik, sir, our esteemed founder cum chairman of IIMT Bhubaneswar. I also welcome Professor Dr. Pradnya Borkar of Symbiosis Institute of Technology, Nagpur, our today's keynote speaker on Beyond Software Development, Alternative Careers in Computer Science. Let me speak a few words about our institute, IIMT Bhubaneswar. InterScience Institute of Management and Technology, Bhubaneswar, was established in the year of 2007 with an objective of teaching science of management in addition to the practice of management. The name itself explains about the scientific study of management, and further to mention that it is inscribed in our institute logo. We are a UNESCO Unity Institute of UNESCO Chair Professor of Economic Systems and Human Rights, Professor Francisco Vigliarolo, National University of La Plata. Let me now explain what we mean by teaching science of management. During these 15 years of excellence, we have organized, facilitated more than 100 symposium, seminar, workshops, national and international in various niche areas of management and technology. Since our inception, we at IIMT have edited and published more than 100 volumes in the area of management and technology from reputed publishing houses like IEEE, ACM, Springer, Elsevier, iOS, SPY, Fluor Academic, MDPI, Hindawi, or InterScience, etc. All these books are available for purchase from Google or Amazon. All our faculty members are engaged in these activities. Each year, we invite and host professors from abroad for workshops and seminars. I am tempted to say that last year, Professor Jesus Garcia from Universidad Complutense de Madrid and Professor Vijayan Submaran from Oakland University School of Business visited our campus during the month of April 2023. Professor Vipul Jain was here from Victoria University, Wellington, for a month on a research exchange program. We publish management books through our own in-house publication, that is IIMT Lecture Notes on Management, where we publish the essential books like Self-Management, Career Guidance, and Emerging Fields of Management. We have started one channel, namely IIMT Open House in YouTube. The purpose is to educate students and parents at large on various subjects and disciplines through talks and interviews. By now, we have more than 100 episodes available at our YouTube channel, namely @IIMT Open House. We have taken interviews with professors, professionals, entrepreneurs, and policymakers. From the academic session 2025-26, apart from the management courses of BBA and MBA and computer application courses of BCA and MCA, we are also entering into engineering courses, providing wide range of opportunities for our students. The courses offered are for BTech program, civil engineering, computer science and engineering, artificial intelligence and machine learning, computer science and engineering, cyber security, electrical engineering, and mechanical engineering. For MTech program, computer science and engineering, artificial intelligence, and machine learning. IIMT Bhubaneswar offers scholarships and awards to recognize and encourage academic excellence among students in science, technology, engineering, and management fields, sponsored by renowned personalities. These awards celebrate achievements such as highest CGPA and exceptional performance in specific subjects, fostering innovation and dedication among students. We have created a platform known as InterScience Research Network, consisting of professionals and researchers. It is available at www.interscience.ac.in, through which we organize various programs inside and outside India. We do arrange workshops and seminars at various universities. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing the dedication and the effort that have shaped these esteemed institutions. Now, without taking much more time, let's hear from our esteemed speaker about the exciting career prospects ahead in computer science. Over to you, ma'am. I'm just stopping the share. You can just share your slide.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Is my screen visible to everybody?
Yes, ma'am, it's visible.
Yeah, okay. Today's very, I'm first of all, I'm very much thankful to Principal of IMT, Dr. Pramod Prushti sir, Patnaik sir, and Smita Rai mom for giving me this opportunity to interact with you and to be a part of this lecture series and to deliver a session on the important topic that is beyond software development. What is the alternative careers in computer science? So let us start with this topic. So now it is very important topic as we say today. Nowadays, why it is important? Because nowadays the students are very much caring about the coding part, right? Okay, so they think that everything should be ready for them, and they is afraid of the hard coding they want to do, or for example they like to do. Okay, so they do not want to go for the hard coding, right? So therefore, from the observation, it has been found that once they have completed their graduation, so 70% of the graduates from completion of their graduation, initially they started the placement. For example, if they started the placement with the role as a developer, so initially they do it, but later on when they think about, when they comes to know the various roles and various opportunities in the IT sector, so they do not want to continue with the development, with the software development, that is with the coding part itself, and therefore they try to move on. So what we have to what is there beyond the coding, right? So mostly there is a vast field, that beyond the coding there is vast field, right? Okay, so what we have to think about what are the skills that students need to have, and that skill should be acquired, or that skill should be present in the student uniquely, right? Okay, it should be unique than others, and that should be presentable, as well as that should be sustainable in the market as well, right? So there are various options available beyond the coding. So let us see what are these options are. So now, why there is a need to explore the alternative careers, right? Okay, so initially the student or anybody needs to identify what is the important role they best suits in, right? Okay, so instead of the roles, they must identify what is their interest is, and to fulfill their interest, what are the various strengths they have, right? So now suppose if they do not have that much strength to fulfill their interest, then what can they do? They can have the various courses. They can go for such courses where their interests lie, right? Now another point, that other than the interest and strengths, another point is that what they want the less stressful life in the IT sector, right? And as well, at the same time, whichever the path they will choose, that path should be sustainable, so that should be from their career aspects, that career paths that they want to choose other than coding or other than software development, so it should be sustainable for longer years in the technology. So that is one of the important point. Now the next point, what they can do, they can do just combine the field of the computer science with the other expertise or with the other domains of the technology, right? For example, anybody can combine the computer science with the management, computer science with the finance department, computer science with the healthcare department, computer science with the in the research as well, right? So these are the various ways how the students or how the graduates can combine the computer science with the another specialized fields. So nowadays, as we know that everywhere, there is a computing, there is a software development, there is a coding, there is a various fields. So nowadays, as we know that everywhere there is a computing, there is a software development, there is a various fields. So facility, or everywhere all computation, right? Okay, everywhere there is a computer, right? So, and nowadays, now we can say this is the era of the artificial intelligence. So once we say the artificial intelligence, it means that there is some computation, and hence there is a need of the computer science, right? So there are various alternative career paths where the such peoples are needed, which are having expertise in other domain with the combination of the other domain as well. And nowadays it is also facing the shortages of such talents, and hence this is one of the another point that why they should go for the alternative careers than the software development, right? So what we can do for this means what the students should think for this, right? So first they think about what are their strengths, I mean they should be aligned according to their strengths and interest also. And second one, they should be the path, whichever the path they want to choose, that should be the sustainable path. And to acquire all these things, to go for the sustainable path, to choose a best career which will be the less stressful, they must have the specialized expertise, or they must have the unique skills. So the very three important key points that need to be considered while choosing the alternative career. The first one is the interest and the strength. What is their interest and what the strength they have. Second one, they must think about whichever the path they want to choose, whether it is sustainable for longer years in the IT sector or not, right? Because every day we come to know that this technology is going to be changed, but still whether their skills are going to be used for longer years, that need to be think. And the third one, to fulfill the alternative career path, they must go, or they must choose, or they must do some kind of the certifications, so that they must acquire some kind of the unique skills or the specialized expertise. Now what are the various career paths that we may have, right? So there are various career paths. Software development, the student can go for the project management. They can go for the in the field of the data science or the data analytics. They can have business analysis. They can have technical writing. They can have DevOps engineer. They can be analyst in the field of the information security. They can be database administrator, or they can also go for the IT support. Even like us, they can be an assistant professor. They can be a lecturer, or they can move in the research also. Another way they can also acquire, like they can be consultant, or they can do also the freelancing. Also they can go for the startups, which are the non-IT startups, right? That is again the apart from the software development. Now the testing, the software testing, or the quality assurance of the software is one of the important feature they can have. Now that is again the non-coding field, and the computer network architect also. Nowadays if you see the scenario or in the market, the students which are not from the computer science background, for example, if the students are from the electronics, if the students are from the civil department, if the students are from the mechanical department, so they are facing challenges to get the job opportunities in their field, right? Okay, so what they are searching for such courses that belongs to the computer science, and by doing that courses they are just jumping from their actual core department or actual core technology to the computer science, right? So it means that such frameworks are available, such easiest frameworks are available. With the help of that frameworks, the student can easily go for the in these various career paths where the actual coding is not required at all. So let us start with the first one. What is project management is. So the computer industry or the IT industry, then there are the various roles. For example, some are the team leaders, some are the software developers, some are the back-end handlers, some are the front-end developer, right? So these are the various roles. But other than that, one of the important role is the project management. So what comes under this project management? So the project manager, the project IT project manager, or we can say the IT project manager, or we can say the product manager also, right? So now what is the main responsibility, or what are the roles of these people? So they can just oversee the projects, and they also oversee the budgets that is required. They also keep track of the timelines as well, right? And even they also look for the what is the vision of the development of this project, or what is the what is the vision for the development of this product? Okay, what will be the roadmap? What will be the particular path to develop that project or that develop that product as well, right? So it means that these people are mainly involved in planning, executing, and the completion of that projects, right? So these are the very important points that these people only focuses on: the planning of the project, the execution of the project, the timeline of the project, as well as the budgeting part of the project also. Similarly, these people are the important representatives from their industries, where they can communicate with the stakeholders, rest of the stakeholders. For example, what are these rest of the stakeholders are? The stakeholders may be the client for which they are developing this project or product. The stakeholders may be the people involved in the development of this particular project or the product. For example, the team member, for example, the project lead, etc., right? They all also analyze the risk assessment, right? So they also focused on the part that after the development of this project or during the development of this project or product, what are the various risks that can be assessed. Similarly, they can also look for the management of the resources. For example, if for the development of the project, if they require such kind of the clouds, right? So from where these clouds can be hired, right? And from, suppose if they are hiring these clouds, so whether it is available freely or whether it is some kind of, they are providing some kind of trials, or whether it is taking some money, etc., etc. So it will also try for the optimization of the resource management also, so that in the optimized way the product or the project can be developed in the given timeline. So this is one of the important role. So for this, what are the important skills that the students or anybody need to have? So they should have abilities in them, as well as they should have the or organization between, or they should have the ability to communicate between the different people amongst their team also. Number of the times it may also happen that there may be a conflicts between the team member itself. So how to resolve these conflicts, that should be easily carried out by these peoples, right? So therefore this is a very important role which comes other than the software development. Now the second role is the data science analytics, right? So now, as we know, there are various softwares are already available. So with the help of that software, or suppose if a person who wishes to just to work with the data science and as a scientist analyst, so what he or she can do? So it's simply just they go for go for the certification. People from the business backgrounds, as well as for any organization who they are work with the large or the voluminous data. So where there is a such kind of the voluminous data, for example, in case of the finance department, or in case of any for example weather forecasting department, right? So where these peoples are needed, in such cases where there is a generation of the voluminous data, so that the data can be visualized perfectly, and from that visualization of the data, it should be inferred correct information, right? So what are the various roles that comes under this data analytics? So the first role is the data analyst. So what is their role is? So it interprets and visualize data for business insights. I just told you, like it interprets and visualize the data. So there are different tools are already available. So with the help of those tools, if they do some kind of learning for that tool, or if anybody do the learning for that tool, so easily they can visualize the data, so that that data should be easily understandable by all the kind of the stakeholders, all the kind of the people, or even for the layman also. Suppose if anybody is not from the technical background, so even that person should understand that data. So in such a way, this data analyst produce that data. The another role that the people who want to work with the data analytics, the another role is the data scientist, right? So now with the help of the data, as the data is already available, with the help of these data, and suppose if some kind of the artificial intelligence and machine learning models apply on this data, then they can have the predictions, right? So for this, if you think about the AI and ML, so again, for using this AI and ML, there are various frameworks available, right? And suppose if you they just do, suppose if even if they go for the coding part also, so the coding will be very less and very easily available, or we can have the Python programming. With the help of the Python programming, they can easily develop the ML models as well as the AI models also, right? So the number of the code is available for various kinds of the predictions. They can directly have that code and just understand the code and just do the predictions for any kind of the predictions, like for example the predictions of the healthcare, the predictions for the bank data, the predictions for the stock market, the predictions for the any kind of the funds, the predictions, the forecast prediction as well. All right. So what the responsibilities are? The responsibilities are just to collect the large data set, analyze those data set, and interpret or visualize that data set, right? And suppose if there is a need arises, then also do some predictions by using this AIML model, right? So what the skills they should acquire, the skill they should acquire should be, they should be good in statistical analysis, as well as they have some kind of the machine learning knowledge. They should at least know some basics of the machine learning languages, right? Okay. And what the programming languages, the very easiest programming languages that they can be knowing, that is the Python and the R. So nowadays even in the schools also, like if you say the school going students, so they are also good, they are also familiar with the Python programming. So because schools also adopted this facility to have the programming languages skills in their students. So therefore from the school itself, the students are knowing the Python, and hence I suppose that this is not a big deal that if anybody do some part of the coding, not too much, only some part of the coding in the Python or in the R programming. Now, next is the business analyst, right? So as we know that businesses are the very important and plays a vital role in the market as well as in the society, right? So now suppose if we bridge this gap between the business and the technology, so it comes a business analysis, right? So by analyzing the businesses, that is we can give a prediction that how the business can be progressed in the future, right? So what we must go for the three steps. That is, the very first step is it needs the identification, that is what is the gap, right? Then again it needs that what is the business, that particularly we need to focus on one business at a time, right? So the gap and the business that has been identified in the first step. After identifying, then there is a need to gather the information related to that particular business, right? And it has to also survey or questionnaire from the various clients, from the various customers, and gather the information, and also gather the requirements from the various stakeholders. And finally, they can propose the solution that how this business can be progress, or what is the role for that role. It is named as business analyst, right? So what the business analyst do, it just bridges the gap between the business and the information technology, right? So now so I have just told you what are the skill set required for these kinds of the people. So they should have the good communication skills, as well as they should have the good analytical thinking skills also. Why? Because once you gather the information, and once you analyze that this is a part that needed to be boosted, so that the business can grow in future, or the business can progress in the future. So that analytics is very important in terms of the business holder, as well as in terms of the customer as well, right? So that because the customer will get the number of services, the number of product in a very less time or in a progressive way. So this is this is all about the business analyst. Now the next role or the next career path, we may say, that is the technical writing, right? So what are the various roles that we may have, what are the various roles that we may have under technical writing are technical writer and the instructional designer. What is technical writer is, the technical writer writes some manuals, or it writes some API docs and guides as well. Now what do you mean by these API docs are? So API docs is nothing but the application programming interfaces, that is the long form for the API. So now, as I just told you, as as, as today, 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 as to in today's world, there is no various ready-made available frameworks are available, right? So those frameworks can be said to be an APIs because they helps the software to just they guide the software, or they just help the software. These APIs help the software for its complete implementation, right? So these are the we can say these APIs. How to use these APIs, this is very important thing, right? So the person can just write the manual that how these APIs can be used, so that it should be understand by non-technical person also. The person who want to jump, or the person who want to go for the computer science, or the person who want to do number of the courses in the computer science, and who is not from the technical background, or who is from the other non-technical background, even if that person should know what is the use of that particular API, what is the use of that particular library which is already available or which is provided by the software itself. So such writing comes under the role of technical writer. Similarly, the instructional designer. So this creates the training materials for the use of the various IT tools. Even though all are aware that when the placement of the students happen or when they are recruited, so initially they have to undergo for training for some years or some months also, right? So there, the company recruits some kind of the trainers also, who gives the training to the newcomers, who give the training to the students, or they have just joined, or the trainees, which are the graduate trainees. So the person can also go for this role, that is the instructional designer, right? Or in the simple way, we can also say the trainer, right? So now what they need to do, so they need to have the good skill for writing, good skill for writing any document or the manual, right? And they also should have the good understanding skills, right? Even though if suppose it do not understand the things, then it will be very bad impact on the manuals, as well as all the any kind of the documentation, and it will not helpful for the students, or for the any layman to use that manual. So it should have the good understanding, right? Now the next role, that is the DevOps engineer, right? So as we say, it is the beyond coding, but somehow the students must know about the coding part also. Even though if do not they do not they won't completely use that hard coding part, but still they at least should have the some basics of that, right? So now what is the DevOps engineer? What are the various roles that comes under this? So the first role is the cloud engineer, right? Okay, so now the people may work with the AWS, that Azure or the Google Cloud as well, provided by this AWS, Azure or the Google Cloud. Okay, and by using the services provided by this cloud, they can do their own tasks, right? So instead of doing much hard code, they can directly go for the use of the services provided by the various clouds. So there are the various different kinds of the services provided by these clouds as well, right? Now what is the important role of the DevOps engineer do, right? So they just do the development, or they just do the software deployment, right? Okay, software deployment. Okay, so software development is not the part of the DevOps engineer, but instead they can have the deployment of the software. Means after development, the software need to be deployed, then only it can be used by the client as well as by all the stakeholders. So software deployment is the major task that is going to be do by the DevOps engineer. Now, the next role also ensures for the performance of the various we can say the various resources available for on this cloud, right? Okay, so these engineers only look for the performance of that particular resource, whether it is working or not, right? So for example, now as we are in the era of the technology, and we are in the era of the industry 4.0. So number of the companies has been automated already, right? Okay, so now the person need not to worry about what is going on with the machine. It is automatically tested, and it is automatically controlled or the monitored by the person who is sitting at remote place, right? Who is not actually visiting to the industry, but he has complete control over the machine. He has control monitoring over the machine, and that machine is automatically doing the task for him, and that person is remotely situated to any place, right? So now such kind of the performance that comes such kind of the work that comes under the site reliability engineer. Now, what are the tasks that need to be do, or what are the responsibilities that need to be carried out by this DevOps engineer? So the first and very important is the software deployment. They need to automate how the software deployment can be automated, right? Then also they have to manage only some kind of the code for the infrastructure, because when they automate the deployment of the software, they also aware about what is the infrastructure is, what kind of the cloud they are using, etc. Right now, so they should know, they should have the skills for the use of the cloud computing, right? And also they also ensure how the system is reliable, whether that particular cloud is reliable or not, right? Whether they provide a particular security or not. Otherwise, the data, whichever the data has been uploaded on the cloud, that can be hacked, right? So it should not happen. So that complete reliable of the system should be taken care by those DevOps engineer. Now, next is information security analyst. So, information security analyst have the four important key points. What are these? The assessment, the controls, the response, and threats. Right? Okay. So, what the security analysis do? They protect the systems from the threats. And what are these threats? Are these threats can be a kind of the cyber threats, right? They also conduct some kind of the assessments just to have the security, right? And suppose if they found that that much security is not provided, then also provide the controls to provide that much security, right? And then suppose if there is any kind of say for example the attack on that particular system or particular workstation or particular server, then immediate they have to resort attacks and threats as well, right? So these are the security the work or the responsibilities of information security analyst. Now let us see what are the various roles that comes under this information security analyst, right? So the important role is the cyber security analyst, right? So these people protects the networks from the cyber threats, right? Not only the government networks but the public sector networks as well, or even any network that need to protect, right? But they have that much skills just to avoid any kind of threat or any kind of attack from the cyber hackers as well, right? Now the second role is the ethical hacker, right? Okay. Now these people that continuously test the system for any kind of vulnerabilities are present in the system or in the workstation or not. Now the security officer, information security officer, it implements all the security policies and also tries to get the compliance for those policies. The forensic analyst, right, it investigates the cyber crimes, right? Okay, so that such kind of the threat, such kind of the attack should be avoided. And the organizations which can recruit such kind of the people who actually works as a information security officer or information security analyst, so the various organizations are the cyber crime units, the defense cyber agencies, the national security agencies, etc. Right? So this is all about the information security analyst. Now let us, the next role that we are going to see is the database administrator, right? So again, in this database administrator, there is no need to have much knowledge about the coding, that is hard coding, I am to say. Only the basics are required, and later on by upgrading some skills, the various tasks that they are going to do under this database administrators are, the first one is the installation, right? Okay, so now how the database systems can be installed. What are the database systems? The systems which stores your information at the background, so these are called as the database systems, right? So initially they need to be installed, right? Then how these databases can be configured so that the database can store the various kinds of the data that is coming from, for example, somewhere the data can be, that data can be come from the internet, somewhere the data can come from any kind of the sensor, or data can come from the weather forecasting where the sensor senses the data, etc. So they need to configure the database accordingly as per the requirement of the particular application or the system. Then again they look for the maintenance, right? Okay, they also maintain the database, right, they also provide the data integrity, right? Now this is the important task, that they should maintain the database and they also provide the security for that database, right? So again, when suppose the important thing that the database administrator need to take care about is the troubleshooting. Suppose in case if there is there is any kind of the crash in the database, right? Okay, if the crash happens, then the database administrator must be aware that how that crash can be avoided, or how get out of the crash and how it can be handled. That troubleshooting skills should be known by the database administrator. Now, the very easiest role is the IT support, right? Okay, so I just told you like troubleshooting, installation management. So we have seen this troubleshooting as well as the installation, but this troubleshooting and installation are for the general purposes. Just now we have seen it for the database administrator, but now we are going to see for any kind of the purposes. For example, installation of generalized softwares and handling set of the issues that can occur in any kind of systems, right? So these are the people who completely assist the technical persons, or who completely assist the computer system for the from the troubleshooting as well as for managing and installing various kind of the systems. Now, the next and important field is the teaching, or the persons can also participate, or the computer the person, if he or she not interested in much hard coding, then also go for the teaching in the field of the education also. So, what are the various functionalities that they can perform in the field of the teaching? Like they can go for the curricular development, they can go for the instructor, or the teacher or the lecturer, and even they can guide the students for their further research or for the project development as well, right? So these are the roles, and we are much aware about this role, I hope so. Now now the next role is the freelancing, or the consultancy, right? Okay, so now suppose if the person do not want to work any company, or any organization or any firm, right? So what they can do, they can go for the freelancing work, right? They can go for the development of such software or such frameworks, which is of their interest only, and not for a longer time, but only for a few duration, or some short span of time, or some only till the deadline of that completion of the project. They can work with that company, and later on they can switch for any company also. It means that the person who want to do the task or the development, or work for, or as per their own interest, and particularly for some time for any industry, that are the freelancers, right? Okay, so the freelancing can be done in the software development, the freelancing can be done in the data analysis, as well as the freelancing can be done in the cyber security as well. So both freelancing and the consultation comes across the development or the analysis or the cyber security. All right, but the thing is that what they need to have the good communication, again good communication skill, as well as they should follow the particular timelines, as well as the deadline, so that once they finish with the one project, they can jump on the or they can carry on the next project development for the next company. Now, what are the flexibilities that can the freelancer can have? The freelancer will be flexible to work at their own space, anywhere from any place, no restriction, right? They have complete autonomy, that they have to only deliver the final project development, but as per the requirement of the company, they can have their own autonomy also, right? They can have more earning potentials because they work for the different companies, and they work at their own space, so they can have the more earning potentials, as well as they can work on the diverse projects. So as they are freelancers, they work for the different companies. So definitely these companies are working on the different domains, different fields. So therefore they have the experience. These freelancers get experience to work with a diverse project. All right. So what they will do, they will enjoy the flexibility, and they will have the more earning potentials at their own space. And completely they will be free from the stressful life or the stressful environment of the company. Now the next one is the some kind of the non-IT startups. So the person can also have their own startups in the field of the healthcare, in the field of the education, or in any field. These are just the examples that I have just listed. But they can have their own startups in various field, in kind of various fields like in the agriculture, education, etc. Right. So it means that they can go for the non-technical industries by using their own skills of the IT. They can have the development of the some kind of the products which are useful for the society. So that will be said to be a startups. Now the again the important many people from other branches, they can also choose the role as a software tester, right? Software testing is again one of the important part. So after development of the software, it is needed to be tested. Why? Because before the development, before the deployment, sorry, before the deployment, so to software get completely tested, right? So what the software tester do, they just look for any kind of lacunas or any kind of the errors or any kind of the corrections are required further in that particular software or not. So again, there are various certifications courses are available. By doing that certification courses, the people from the non-technical background also can go for this software testing part or the quality assurance part. Now, next one is the computer network architecture, right? Okay, so suppose computer network architecture are the architect who do not do actual coding, but just they design the network, how the network will be. Right now, nowadays, all organizations, all education organizations, IT industries, everywhere, even hospitals, even banking, all they are working with the computer. So therefore, they need that all these computers should be connected with each other, and that comes under the computer network. They do the design of the computer network or complete network for that organization, for that for any hospital if they need it, for any banking banks, for any financial organization as well, for any education as well, right? So what are the various roles they may play? They may play the role of the network engineer, they may play the role of the system administrator also, because they are dealing with the infrastructure, IT infrastructure, right? So, what are the various organizations wherein these roles are available? So, public IT departments, then all the government data centers, as well as the public sector data centers and smart city projects also, right? So, what the major task is? The major task is just to design the network and accordingly just instructs other people who works for that who works for actually deployment of this network. Now, so these are some actually the roles which are useful in the banking and the finance. So we have already discussed that data analyst, but that also said to be IT risk analyst, then fintech consultant. These are the important roles that are needed in the field of the finance or the banking, right? So what the IT risk analysts do, they just evaluate what are the various risks that can happen or that can arise in future in banking operations. They predict some kind of the risk also, right? Then fintech consultant works with with the some kind of the solutions that will be helpful for digital banking. Now everybody nowadays, everybody works with the digital banking, right? Nobody wants to go to the bank and do the transactions. Everybody want to do the transactions at their own space only, at their own home only, with their own phone, with their own mobile, with their own desktop, with their own machine, right? Okay, so therefore, for this digital banking and e-governance solutions, this fintech consultants works. So, what are the major organizations that provide these roles? The public banks, reserve banks, and some ministries also. Now, some policy and the regulatory roles also. So, some people can also work as a policy maker, right? So, who are these people? And what these people are said to be? These people are IT policy analysts. They draft some kind of the regulation and policies for the use of the technology. Next one is the digital transformation officer who just modernize the services by using the IT, right? So nowadays number of the public services has been modernized, right? Okay, then the audit officers who ensures that the audit of just the employment of or the incorporation of the IT laws everywhere. And the organizations where these roles can be provided are the IT ministries, then regulatory agencies and data protection offices. Now, the other than all these roles, some research roles can also be there, right? Okay. So why I've written data and research roles? Because when we do the research, so definitely there is a need of some kind of the data, right? So data analyst, we have already seen. Then statistician, right? So statistician who looks for the census, or who looks for some statistics related with the economic data, as well as the data comes from the healthcare sector, the data comes from the weather forecasting, etc. So those are the statistician, right? So this role comes under the research. And then the AIML researchers. So definitely, when you have the statistics, then that statistics, if you just incorporate, or if you just embed this statistics with some kind of the model, that is artificial intelligence and machine learning model, then there will be a good predictions can be come out from that particular model, right? So therefore, the AI and ML researchers are also needed to provide some kind of AI solution based on the statistics, right? So what is the organization that provides such kind of the roles are the national statistical offices, then some research institutions, and some forces which are really meant for the AI. Now finally we come to the end, like how the your career can be chart, right? Okay, so now first of all you must explore what is your interest is, right? Okay, and to by exploring your interest, you just develop what are your strengths are. Now to develop your strengths, what you can do, you just learn, you do the various certifications, right, to just acquire those skills, to acquire those strengths, and then you can network with the peoples to just give your skills to those peoples, and you just get in those roles. You should be networking, right? So this is all about what are the various career paths beyond the software development. So in all those roles, there is no need to have the hard coding involvement of the hard coding or the software development, but with the help of the some kind of the frameworks, ready-made available frameworks, the students or the graduates can go for the various career paths other than the software development. So thank you one and all. Yeah, Smita ma'am, over to you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your insightful talk. Your appreciation about the topic, your time, your effort, sharing the knowledge with us was really incredible. We are really honored to have you with us today. Moving to
Yeah.
the vote of thanks. It's my privilege to extend a heartfelt vote of thanks on behalf of IMT family to Ms. Borkar for taking the time to share her valuable insights and experience with us today. Really a good time for the participants to know the base of the topic and the real world tie. A heartfelt thank you to our esteemed principal. His leadership and guidance are always invaluable for fostering the growth and learning which inspires all of us. Last but not the least, the unwavering support from the participants. Thank you so much all. Have a nice day ahead.